Hello, I'm Joseph, the main developer of Scantailor, and today I'm going to demonstrate post-processing of scanned, or in this case photographed pages using Scantailor. Let's start. Let's create a new project. We specify the input directory, the directory our files are in. The name of the output directory got generated automatically, which is fine with us. Okay. Now we are asked to fix DPI. DPI stands for dots per inch and is a measure that links physical sizes like inches and millimeters to pixel sizes. Now, if you were working with scanned pages, generally you wouldn't have to fix DPI because the scanner software would put the correct DPI to files by itself. It can do it because it knows the physical sizes of object it scans. However, the camera doesn't know the sizes of objects it photographs because it doesn't know the distance to them. Therefore, we would have to estimate the DPI and put it there. There is fortunately a good way to do it. It gives more or less precise results, which is precise enough for our purposes. We would need an image editor for that. We're going to use GIMP. So I have opened one of the files we're going to work on. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to select 6 lines of text. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In this case, the width of the selection box doesn't matter, only height does. So if you look carefully into this area while I'm dragging my selection box, you will notice it prints the pixel dimensions of it. So right now the height of the box is 180 pixels, which turns out to be about the DPI we want. This works because most books are printed in such a way that 6 lines of text fit vertically into 1 inch. Okay, so we are going to switch back to Scantailor and assign 180 DPIs to all pages. Apply, okay. Okay, moving on. Fixing the orientation. As you can see, our pages, I believe all of them are upside down, so we are going to rotate them and apply that rotation to all pages. Okay. The next 2 stages, split pages and disk queue, I'm not going to talk about them much because these stages are well done automatically. The algorithm is quite good at finding those spine lines of a book and finding the rotation angle to make text lines horizontal. You see, it worked quite nice for this page. So we're going to go right to stage 4, which is select content, and we're going to do batch processing at this stage. Batch processing will process all of the pages starting from the currently selected one up to the end of the list. Let's wait a little bit, it may take some time. Okay, we are done. Now, this stage, select content, is almost guaranteed to produce at least a few wrong results. So we would have to find them and fix them manually. Fortunately, there is a good enough way to find those bad results without having to list through all of the pages. What we're going to do is we're going to sort the pages by increasing width and look at the widest pages and the narrowest ones. So immediately we see a problem. The widest page is too wide because of this little defect. Okay, we are going to adjust the selection box and the content box. Okay, we are fine. You see, our page is no longer the widest one, now this one is. And this one, I would say, it's fine. So there is no need to continue going upwards. We're going to also check the narrowest page, which is fine. and do the same with height. The tallest page looks fine, and the smallest page looks fine as well. So it looks like we are done with the select content stage, and we can move on to the next stage, which is margins. So what this stage does, it specifies how much space to add to the content box to form the final size of the output files. There are two types of margins in Scantailor. I call them hard margins and soft margins. Hard margins is what you see between the two solid lines. These are specified explicitly in physical units, millimeters in this case. You can adjust them here. You can drag those solid lines using the mouse. Also, there are what I call soft margins. Soft margins, you can see them here between the outer solid line and the dashed line. Those are added to grow the page size to make it match with other pages, provided this option is selected. If we uncheck this option, soft margins disappear, but normally we don't want to have our pages have different size. Therefore, normally we keep it on. We may uncheck it for stuff like maybe full page illustrations, the cover page, and stuff like that. Okay, we see here that soft margins are quite significant. Why would that be? Well, first of all, having soft margins means that somewhere in the project we have a page this wide and this tall. It's actually easy to find such a page. Just let's switch the sorting order to order by width, and let's see the widest page. Okay, so now we see why we've got such a wide page. It happens that in this case the picture actually reaches the very edge of the page, while normally there would be some margins. What we could do about it? There are several options. We could do nothing if margins that big are okay with us. Another option would be unchecking this checkbox. By the way, it's a per page option, not a global one, so some pages may have it on, other may have it off. And the third option is probably we could drop the left and the top hard margins for such pages to 0, which is what we're going to do. And obviously we would have to do it for all pages where a picture reaches the edge of a page. And there is another one. Okay, so okay, I would say the margins got less a bit, and I don't think we can improve it further. Another thing we could do is we could adjust alignment. For example, we might center the page, but in this case maybe the default one was fine. But it's up to you anyway. So, moving on, the output stage. By the way, none of the previous stages actually generate any files, only the output stage does. All of the previous stages just collect some information about your images. So, the first thing we are going to do, we are going to change the output resolution. Well, the main reason I do it is just to save time for this demonstration, because outputting at 600 dpi may take quite a while. Besides of that, the ideal output dpi is the double of the input dpi. If you remember, our input dpi was something like 180, so our ideal output dpi will be like 360, I believe, right? 360 and apply that to all pages. Okay. Another thing we are going to change the output mode. Currently it's set to black and white, which produces result like this. But we want, actually we have a choice between color and grayscale mode, which produces a result like this. However, in this case we are going to use a mixed mode. This mode tries to automatically detect pictures and output them in either grayscale or color mode, and output everything else in black and white. So we're going to apply this mode to all pages. Although we do have some which are text only, we could go with black and white with them. So we see two problems now. The first problem is this vertical black stripe. And the second problem is I don't like this completely white sky, and even less I like those rough edges. See here. We're going to fix both of them, in fact. Let's start with this black vertical stripe. First of all, where did it come from? It came from the fact that the content box reached outside of the page. So I believe the only thing we can do about it is to use fill zones to mask it out. So like this. Okay. Switching back to, actually we are switching to picture mask editing mode. So this blue area is the area algorithm thinks is a picture, and it thinks this area is just page background. What we are going to do is we are going to correct it a little bit. So now this area is also the picture area. Okay. Let's switch back and see the result. Okay, looks better. We are going to fix other pages as well. In fact, I think first we are going to do batch processing. Batch processing on the output stage is the most time consuming. For books having hundreds of pages, it may take hours. By the way, this system load adjuster might come in handy if, for example, you want maybe to play a game while the batch processing is running. You could just decrease system load, and that should allow you to do other useful things with your computer. Okay, we are almost done. Okay. By the way, running batch processing on pages we have already made adjustments is completely fine. It won't overwrite our adjustments, as you can see here. So it's fine always, and it's also faster than processing a page which hasn't been processed before. Okay, so we have a few more pages. We have to apply our fixes. So let's create a fill zone. I just hope that in your real books you wouldn't have as much pictures touching the edges of a page as here, so you wouldn't have to do it as much. By the way, did you notice that having created this fill zone, the question mark appeared here? The question mark on a thumbnail generally means that reprocessing of this page is required. Well, it could also mean that the page hasn't been processed at all at this stage. Okay, I think we are going also to fix this stripe. I believe it belongs to the previous page. Maybe we'll do this and this. Okay, better now. In this case, the sky is also white. I'm going just to have a look at the original. Reprocessing takes place currently. So in this case, I believe the algorithm is right. This color is basically the same as page background, and it doesn't look that bad in the resulting page. So I'm going to leave it as is. And the final page to fix is this one. So let's start with fill zones. Okay. Maybe like this. Okay. Okay. Now the problem is obviously this white area and those rough edges. So the fix would be the usual one. We would start from here. Okay. Remember this. We already have fixed this thing with fill zones, so we don't have to fix it here. And I'm going to get rid of those edges like this. I'm going to create another type of picture zone and set its type to subtract from auto layer. Okay, let's see how it looks. Looks fine to me. One thing you might not like is you may think that the page is not aligned properly, especially vertically. The algorithm, this Cuban algorithm, actually tries to make the lines horizontal, and it can only do it by rotating the page. So if we would rotate it like this, maybe, you see the page become more vertically aligned, but less horizontally aligned. We might actually try outputting it this way and see how it looks in this case. By the way, you probably noticed that all of the pages turned into question marks. It happened because while deskewing it, while changing the rotation, we changed its size, and it happened that this page either was the tallest one, the widest one, and after rotation it no longer is, or maybe the opposite. It wasn't the widest or tallest, and now it is. And what it caused is it caused soft margins for all other pages to be increased or decreased. Therefore, basically, now we would need to do batch processing on all of the pages again, which is fine. Even, by the way, even picture zones, fill zones survive changes in deskewing quite well. So they will be rotated together with the rest of the page. Just bear with me for a while. Okay, I believe this was the page we changed the rotation. So you can see here that the automatic picture detection algorithm changed its mind, and now it actually thinks that this area is also belongs to a picture. Okay, we're going to fix that as well. Okay. Like this. Okay. Now it would be a good time to save a project, which I'm not going to do for this demonstration. Okay, so that's our final result. I believe it's quite fine. Okay, so I think we are done now. Thanks for your attention and bye.